passenger side for us, which would be driver side if you're in the US. Bit odd, I know. Yeah, I think I'll replace all those foams. We've got a place in town does all that. I'll figure out, obviously that's factory, I'd say. I don't know, somebody else might be able to answer that in comments, where they use the foam. Got the black up in the roof in the sleeper. I pulled the actual driver's compartment area cap because I wanted to get access to the bolts and all that, remove the front lights. Passenger side seats are in reasonable order, they'll clean up. Something I am missing is the center curtains for the sleeper. I haven't got any of those. This will be our worst panel, the one above the dash. It's had moisture obviously along the window mast, slightly touched this panel, but it's alright, we'll tidy that up. Sleeper, back of sleeper panel, gave that a wipe, it's pretty good. Lining for the sleeper, it'll clean up. The end panels are in the sleeper box. They wiped up alright. They've only had one clean. It's interesting. I'll try and turn this around. There's the date, September 8th month 1992 on the production of that panel. I should go and check the numbers on the truck. So 95 is the truck. I don't think I've ever shown this before. The on the door with the details. Then obviously the proper sticker, yeah, date of manufacturer. Trying to get the light. Date of manufacturer 95, 5th to 95. Everything on there. Something I did notice, got tyre size on there, rim size, width, tyre 285 by 75 by 245. Yeah, maybe that's what it left the factory with. In New Zealand here, when this truck arrived here, it would have had to have this brake coating put on it. I call it a coating, but it's a compliance. Sorry if the light's not right, but I see tyre size 1100 by 22.5. So obviously it's put on taller rubber. I don't know a lot about it, whether that's happened over back in the US or whether it's happened here. So yeah, we're moving along pretty good with what we're doing. Obviously it's a big mess in here. Going to lift all the floor matting out. Going to figure out whether I'm going to obtain more of this, which I can do, I think, in town, of the same design, or whether it's even possible. I'd like to put a wood finish type floor in it, but I'm not sure how I'm going to get on with all the bolts and stuff. I need to lift this and see what's under it and figure out whether I can do that. Be quite a neat finish to have that. All the dog box here, I'm just going to obviously clean the shit out of that, clean it right up. I'm not pulling all that, but I am going to have to pull the dash obviously to get at the window mask, because we're going to have to work on that extensively. I'll leave that for another day. Right, next step in the whole saga. We've removed all the cushions from the seat bases, so start cleaning those. They haven't got the best of smells to them. And the bases, I've gone over and I've just wire wheeled them. I didn't want to sandblast them because it gets into the rollers and there's grease in there. I just don't want to deal with it. I've cleaned all that up. Wire wheel all inside there, and I sprayed it with that CRC rust kill, and I've had it in front of my big heater here, so the whole thing's, yeah, it's hot. So I'm going to give it the rattle can treatment, Dulux overhaul, paint it up. Show you the other one here, passenger side. It been damp in the cab, so it started to eat into the aluminium. A little bit there I've missed. So I've just put some of this steel Bondo filler on. It's already started going off. Punch a bit off there, fill that. You always notice something when you turn the camera on. We're off there. It wasn't bad, but yeah, peace of mind. I'll tidy it up. Never going to see it. It's right up against the doghouse, this. Put it out, and now's the time to do it. Probably read the health warnings for that stuff. Please wear gloves. We'll get it off. So I've got to mask this one up. I'll put the wire wheel over it. I don't want to lose all those labels on there. And yeah, this one's got our brake certification label on it as well. Cover that. So I'll do a little bit of rattle can overhaul and I'll bring you back, show you what it looks like. I just wanted to chuck this in here to show you, well, show the people from the Northern Hemisphere what some of our winters are like. So I did Google it because I wasn't sure myself. I wanted to show you what our day is here. It is the middle of winter. So we average 1 metre 86 of rain, which is 42.8 inches of rain a year here. So yeah, we're quite wet. Our average temperature is 12 degrees, which is 53.7 Fahrenheit. That's our average for the year. So we're not too bad, but yeah, it's one of those winter days. That's why I just hide in the shop. Been and shifted the cows this morning. They're behind the hot wire. We brake feed here. Yeah, we don't house our animals like the Northern Hemisphere. We don't get that cold, as I just explained. But yeah, just a lot of rain and wind. We're grateful wind here where I live. There's a lot of it. Right, I just want to show you what's going on here. It's quite frustrating. I've sanded it and I primed it. Been sitting here in front of the heater. It's all nice and warm. I used the Rust-Oleum primer, which I don't normally do, but put that on. I'm having trouble with it peeling on me. Sorry, the light's not the best. Try and change it. Yeah, so all that's sanded and primed. It started to pull the primer. You can just see it, but the minute I touch it with a gloss black, yeah, it just does that. It's like there's an oil on it, but I can't see how there can be because it's all been sanded and cleaned and primed. And it's done it on the actual seat frame as well. Looks terrible. I don't know what the answer is to it. Bit frustrating. A second go at it now. So over here on this one, I try and get the light right for you. Now the light's going to go out. I sanded all that and primed it, and it's pulled through the primer as well. It's done the same. It's not the best of days here. I mean, it is cold, but I've had the paint sitting there. I've warmed it all. I just don't know what the answer is. I know somebody will be watching this and they'll be screaming at the TV. I've got the answer. I do the same. I watch guys fix things and think, why are you doing that? One day I watched a guy try and get a brake drum off his truck, and he put wedges, and then he had a machine beside the truck, so he put a come along on there, a chain hoist, and he pulled on the brake drum. Yeah, one thing he didn't realise, brakes were actually on. So I was sitting there screaming at the TV, and the kids were all laughing at me. So yeah, somebody will be doing the same at home. They'll be looking at this going, yeah, we know where you've gone wrong. Well, I do too. I'm doing it. That's the problem. Okay, here we are with the Dulux overhaul of the seats. I showed in my previous clip I was having a lot of trouble with the painting. I managed to get it to work, do a bit of googling, a bit of reading, and yeah, it's a multitude of things was happening. So I ended up just putting it on in real fine layers, just like an overspray layer, and just let it tack off, and then did a bit more and a bit more. I still don't know what the problem really was, temperature, and could have been something in the steel. Still a bit lumpy on the front of that, but that's okay. Alright. I've put some upholstery cleaner on there and put some conditioner on it. But the driver's seat, it's got damage on there, but that's something I can do later on. If the truck ever goes and I like it, well, I can just pull that off. It's nothing. It's only 4 screws and get the seats recovered. There's a time and a place for everything. Okay, to show you what I'm doing here, I've attacked all the screws along the front of this dash. So I've got all those out. The far side of the dash, I've got that moving, and I figured out what holds it all to the doghouse within reason. Still a few more to take out, but on that far side I'm struggling to get it away from the up front. I'm not sure what's still holding that. I'm going to work at that. But something that really annoys me is the steering wheel. Every time you go to do something, it's in the way. So I popped the horn arrangement, was only half there. I tried to push that wire down, and to get that down further yet. I've got a little puller set here. I thought I'll video what I'm going to do to try and, that might sit there, try and pull the steering wheel. I've tried tapping it off and I can't do that. I can see the spline. So I've found some bolts. I'm not sure what the threads are, could be UNC or something, I'm not sure what they are. It'll be UNF, I think. They're fine, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, they'll go down in there. I've got to get rid of that wire so I can put the centre of the puller on there. I'll video it as I go, I'll let you know. As they do, this is all escalated into a oh no moment. So, as I said, I wanted to pull the steering wheel. Sorry, the lighting's pretty bad in here at the moment. So, I got a puller, got the bolts, but I don't want to damage the wire, and I can't push it down in the hole. It seems to me that it's got to come up. I can't get that connection to fit down in the centre. So that's fair enough. It's like, right, so we'll unbolt the steering wheel. So, obviously tag the air lines for the valve, and I see where the power connection is for the, bring the light back, sorry. Power connection, but I see it's broken off where it touches inside the steering column to make the contact for the horn. So that's all right. I think I can manufacture something up to go on there. So that's okay. I've got the bracket off. We'll fix that up. I've undone every screw I can find on here, just thinking it may release something, but obviously that wire goes down to that brass contact area or whatever it's manufactured out of. So my next train of thought is, let's just remove the steering column and get it on the workbench. So I thought I'll document this as I go, in case somebody's trying to do the same thing. I know it's already been done out there, but so there's a circlip down here on the brake pedal. I don't think I can do that one-handed. I need to pop the circlip, pull the pin, which will give me access to the hinge point for the steering column, and we can get it out. So I'm going to have to put you down for a minute and just disassemble, and I'll come back. Okay, after a fight with it, and I put up a good one, I managed to get the steering column out. I had to take the rest of the universal off, get it off the spline so I could slip that up out of there. I still haven't figured out, obviously that hinges, no problem there. There's a pin through here. I can get it to move freely, and then it just long punches. Isn't it funny when you look for tools and you can never find them? There it is. But then it stops. So there's something retaining that pin, whether it's got a step, or I don't think this bracket here, none of that comes off, it's all one. So somehow that pin's retained. Anyway, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, rubber boots all been put on wrong. Yeah, we'll figure that one out. I realise if that's not on right, it leaks air up through the cab. So yeah, we've got the steering column. At least I've got it. And I can now lift the damn thing out of the truck and figure out what we're going to do with it. It's going to be a mission. Pull it to pieces and try and get that horn wire working again. I figured out why they put another wire down through the hole here now, and they had that hooked up. Obviously the wire did twist around the column every time they turned the wheel. I like to think we can do a bit better than that. Okay, we're back with the next little challenge here. I managed to get the steering column out of the truck. There was a circlip on the very bottom that I removed, and in my hopeful wishes that the column was just going to slip up out of there, but it only goes about an inch and then it stops. So I need to get this steering wheel off. So my next drama is the electrical wire for the horn. So obviously you put a puller on there to pull the steering wheel. So you put your locator, would normally go there in the middle and wind down. Bob's your uncle, you're away. So I had to come up with a plan of how to do this without ruining the wire, because I still don't know if the wire is going to be any good, but I've got to try and save it while it's there. So I come up with the idea of the washer over there, the socket, wind the wire up inside and put that on there, and then I'll put my puller on top. So I won't be able to do this all one-handed. So here's my puller. I'm going to run it upside down on the socket, but it should sit there, won't be that tight. So I'll set it all up and I'll bring you back with what happens. Right, so I have given it a couple of winds and it started to move. No way that was going to come off with a hammer. I'll just smash something. Yeah, it's lifting easy now. So that's worked. But what I'm going to find next, yeah, it's come loose on the spline. Right, I'll disassemble all this and I'll lift and we'll see what we got. Okay, here's my thoughts on what's happening here. I had this upside down. The bottom bearing comes in from the top. There's no way it comes out the bottom. So this shaft lifts, and then it hits. So there's, yeah, it's obviously a collar in there. So the only way you get this apart is to try and get these manufacturing indents out if I want to remove it. I'm still thinking about that. I'll show you why. Okay, got the tester here just to show you that it's, yeah, we've got power through there. The wire's not broken in the column. It still needs work doing on this. Okay, what I did was little cold chisels, went around, took off the little crimps on there. It's really hard steel, this. I thought it might be. And they just, yeah, they broke. So that allowed them to open. Then I used a crow's foot bar, and I just against the steering column, carefully pushed it all out. And I just tapped it on the wooden floor here, and yeah, got the shaft out. So the way I think about things is trying to get that apart. If I damaged it in the process of doing it, how can I fix it? That's my biggest thing, is can I fix my mistakes? So, I mean, obviously you're not going to go to town and grab another steering column. Well, not here anyway. So, yeah, I had a fair idea that was just holding the bearing in there, which it was. So I'll file all that up, clean it all up. We'll be able to recrimp that okay. It's not an issue. Hold the bearing in. So I want to paint the steering column anyway. So yeah, as I said, the bottom bearing, it certainly doesn't come out that way. It's all put in from the top. But there's nothing wrong with the bearings. Leave all those alone. Just want to work on this actual column with this contact area here for the signal. Where was it? Yeah, there's a piece stuck in it there. What's going on there? I'll figure that out. And the little piece fell out. It's been broken off. We'll keep going and see what we can do with it. Right, come up with one solution. This here is worn out. You can see the colour change. It's gone through the, I'm not sure what that is, to the insulating piece on there, so it doesn't earth to the shaft, obviously. So it's worn right out. So I thought about that and I thought, well, I could rewrap it or something. No, can't get that to stay on. So I did some measuring, and you might see the existing mark just from here. So I've shifted it up, that it's going to run on this here. It's going to have a new surface, and I re-drilled where the locating screw is. That's plastic, that screw as well, so it's not earthing to the shaft. So my next step is to make the piece that's going to contact that. Okay, to show you what I've done. As you saw before, that had the broken off piece. So you can never have too much junk on hand. Went through my electrical department, boxes of stuff in there, and I found an old light with like a, yeah, it's all pre-drilled, had two sides on it, cut one off. I bent all that, so you can sit that down in there. With me shifting that up, it's, yeah, it's going to be a long time before that's worn out. It's just got a bit of spring tension on it. Sit you down here. So I've got my tester going. It works. Nothing else is live. So hopefully that's going to work. Just standing here thinking, I wonder how far the other one went for it to wear that much. I wonder how many miles is on it. I realise it'll wear in one place because you're always correcting it, keeping it in a straight line going down the road, so it's always wearing within that. I suppose the amount the wheel turns, the shaft could be half an inch on there, just rocking backwards and forwards. I've never seen one worn out before, but I haven't pulled many trucks apart either. Yeah, I'll screw all that back together, and I call that a successful fix, if it works. I'll retest it once I screw it all up, but I'm pretty sure it's alright. So I'll put this shaft back in, I'll clean up where the bearing goes, and I'll re-ping it to hold the bearing in. It should work alright. I mean, there's no real stress on it. See, there's a taper. No, I don't know if it's a taper or not for the steering wheel to go on. Just looks like it here slightly. Anyway, all that'll go on. I'm not going to put the steering wheel on until we've got it all back in the truck, and obviously got the steering center, because the orientation of the wheel, it may it may be out in the position that I've got that upside down at the moment. But yeah, so I got to get a horn unit. There is one available. It's actually in the country here where the truck come from. Those people have got them. Might just try one, and if not, I'll be shopping online for one. Steering wheel actually wants work doing on it too, wants painting. Clean that up while I've got it in pieces. Luckily, I'd say it's had another wheel put on it, because yeah, most of them are all cracked and broken. So what this now is, actually got a label on it. Pays to have a look. Underwriters, laboratories and corporate customer road steering wheels in accordance with the compliance. Yeah, sorry you can't read that, I know the lights on it. It's got USA stamped on it with part number. It fits, so we won't change it. Don't need a fancy wooden one. Don't make the truck go any better. Cool, I'll carry on with that. Okay, just going to show you this. I've put it back together. Something I didn't show is I popped the seals on the bearings and just put a little bit of light grease in them. Nothing wrong with them, but they're not a lot in there. So I've livened it up. Yeah, there's our test. See if I can jam that under there. Yep. And, no matter how we turn or what we do, we've got contact. So yep, pretty wrapped about that. I'll clean the steering column up and paint it now. I want to try and paint a few things in the cab just to tidy them up as we move along.